This morning, President Biden and the First Lady are on their way to Buffalo, New York. The city is grieving after a mass shooting left 10 black people dead at a supermarket over the weekend. Now, the FBI is calling this an act of racially motivated violent extremism. We're also learning the suspect had plans to continue his shooting spree before he was captured. Bradley Blackburn is in Buffalo with the latest.
President Biden and the First Lady visit Buffalo, New York today, 3 days after police say a white gunman went on a racially motivated shooting spree, killing 10 black people and injuring 3 others at a grocery store.
What we want to do is making sure that we send a very clear message that hate must have no safe harbor.
A White House official tells CBS News Mr. Biden will call the shooter's actions terrorism motivated by a hateful and perverse ideology, and he will urge Congress to pass new gun control legislation.
And it's hard.
Yesterday, the president paid tribute to Aaron Salter, a 55-year-old retired police lieutenant who worked as a security guard at the Tops supermarket.
He actually was able to shoot the assailant twice, but he had on a bulletproof vest, and he lost his life in the process.
Sources tell CBS News the 18-year-old suspect wrote a lengthy online post where he described himself as a white supremacist and said he planned to continue his attacks at other locations in the city.
For no reason. For no reason.
86-year-old Ruth Whitfield was the oldest victim. Her son says she was buying groceries after visiting her husband at a nearby nursing home.
What I love most about my mom is how she loved us, how she loved our family.
The suspect pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder over the weekend. He's now under suicide watch in jail. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Buffalo, New York.
And the president is expected to arrive in Buffalo within the hour. He's expected to meet with families of victims as well as law enforcement and community leaders and will deliver remarks later this morning.
This morning, the suspect in Sunday's deadly shooting at the church in Orange County set to appear in court. Authorities say he was motivated by tensions between China and Taiwan. Meantime, these new photos you see here show the moments that congregants held down the suspect. The man killed in the shooting is being called a hero. Authorities say 52-year-old Dr. John Chang was shot while tackling the gunman, allowing others to pin the shooter down until police got there. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we will hear from one of the congregants who held down that suspect. He'll describe the chilling moments that led up to the shooting.
Some San Diegans are speaking out after a weekend of gun violence across the country.
Dozens gathered at Balboa Park for a vigil last night to stand against hate.
As a black man living here in San Diego, I've certainly felt it in terms of neo-Nazi presence here, and certainly it felt like I'm in danger.
This is 2022 to see 10 people shot in the supermarket, black people. It's like he was hunting them. And he's 18 years old. How do you get that much hate in your soul?
People at the vigil called on elected officials to pass stricter gun control laws on a nationwide level. This morning, police are investigating an apparent murder-suicide in Point Loma. The call came out around 7:30 last night on Lowell Street off Nimitz Boulevard. Police tell us a man and a woman were killed, both in their 80s. They have not been identified. If you or someone you know needs help, please call the County Access and Crisis Line. The number on your screen here, 888-724-7240. Trained and exercise counselors are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Once again, the number 888-724-7240.
This morning, the fight over short-term vacation rentals is back in the spotlight. It's been a hot debate, as many of you know, for years and years, and we could get some answers today. CBS 8's Anna Laurel joining us live in Mission Beach with what we can expect to see happen. Good morning, Anna.
Good morning, Netta. Of course, these short-term rentals, big business around San Diego, but the number of them is about to drastically drop. A lot of people are happy about that because they don't necessarily like these short-term rentals in their neighborhood where they live year-round. But we're out here at Mission Beach because this is the hot spot. This is where a lot of those short-term rentals are located located and will continue to be located through this process, even when this law goes into effect probably in the fall. The City Council votes on it, the final vote today. And so that's why we're here in Mission Beach. City Council member Jennifer Campbell, she introduced this new law originally, and she's going to be out here talking about it later this morning. So let's go over with you exactly what this means for these short-term rentals around the city of San Diego. The new short-term residential occupancy ordinance limits whole home short-term vacation rentals to 1% of the city's overall housing stock. That means the city has 540,000 housing units. That means they're going to issue 5,400 short-term permits, except for Mission Beach, where I am, where 30% of homes can be rented. This new law requires property owners to get that permit to have a rental in the first place, and there will actually be a citywide lottery system to get the permit. Property owners in good standing, they're going to get the priority in that whole lottery system. And finally, this law will have stricter enforcement. Guests and property owners could be fined up to $1,000 for any violations. Now, for people who just want to rent out their home for less than 20 days a year, let's say 10 days in the summer when they're out of town, there's no limit on the number of permits that will be issued for that. Also, if you just want to rent out one room of your house for an Airbnb, there's no limit on the number of permits for that. So as many people that want to can do that. Now, the Coastal Commission, they just voted, they just passed it. That was their part of it that needed to happen. That happened back in March. So now today, the City Council will make its final vote. Then it becomes law. And so all of this will change. That number, right now, the city says about 16,000 houses do the short-term rentals every year. That's going to drop to 5,400, so a big change in that business around San Diego. I'm Anna Laura, live in Mission Beach. Send it back to you, Eric.
All right, Anna, thank you for that. This morning, Chula Vista is considering a temporary ban on evictions. The City Council will consider two ordinances intended to address disputes between landlords and renters. Now, the first would limit the acceptable reasons for ending a renter's lease. The second, an eviction ban to protect against no-fault causes. Those typically happen when a landlord wants to move into the property themselves, wants to do a substantial remodel, or wants to sell. Now, the new ordinance would extend the time a tenant has to vacate that property to 60 days. Well, today, the San Diego City Council will discuss how much street vendor permits will cost. Back in March, the council voted to implement a new set of rules. Now, vendors must get permits to operate. Street vending is banned along busy beaches and high-traffic areas like Balboa Park, Little Italy, and the Gas Lamp, but only during the summer season. Protected zones for vendors are also established in other areas. Well, young kids may soon be able to get a COVID booster shot. The FDA is expected to approve Pfizer's booster for kids ages 5 to 11 as soon as today. Pfizer requested emergency use authorization last month. The company claims its data showed a third vaccine dose raised Omicron-fighting antibodies by 36 times in those ages 5 to 11.
This morning, the FDA and Abbott Nutrition have reached an agreement. This is aimed at easing the nationwide baby formula shortage. Now, the plant in Michigan has been shut down since February. Production could ramp up there within 2 weeks, with new formula hitting store shelves after 8 weeks. So still have to wait about 2 months. The FDA is also relaxing restrictions on some formula imports. Coming up here in our second half hour, we will take a closer look at a new warning about scams targeting desperate parents who are looking for baby formula amid this shortage. Meantime, now we're learning that cow's milk could be a simple alternative to formula. So the American Academy of Pediatrics is now saying that babies over 6 months of age can have whole cow's milk. It's only an option if the child does not need a specialty formula for allergies or has other health needs. You'll still want to check with your pediatricians. The agency also says parents should limit the cow's milk to 24 ounces a day.
Let's take a peek outside here on this Tuesday, checking in with Evan, and the cooler temps going to stick around here. I don't mind that.
Yeah, well, that's for today. They will, at least. That's what we know, is that the overcast skies that we start off the morning with are likely going to hang out a little bit longer than what we saw yesterday, where those clouds cleared out pretty quickly. And temperatures along the immediate coast are going to be cooler than yesterday by about 2 to 3 degrees. So no significant change. This goes along with what we said yesterday, with temperatures largely stagnant throughout the week, and conditions the same way. It's just that those clouds are going to hang out just a couple hours longer, and that those temperatures will drop by a few degrees. Inland, we're still looking at mid mid-70s this afternoon, low 70s across your mountains, and 102 for the deserts out there with some sunshine in the mix. Coastal eddy swirling up those clouds along the coastline. So that live look outside shows you what we're working with right now. This shows that those clouds are pretty dense. The sunrise was about 20 minutes ago. Sunset not come until 7:42, but we probably won't see all that much sun beaming through along the coast for another couple of hours. Now, walking out the door right now, temperatures are pretty mild. We've got mainly upper 50s on the screen here. 59 for Carlsbad, 58 for Del Mar, and 60 right now in Oceanside. Your inland valleys are going to warm up by another about 20 degrees, whereas your coastline only has about 10 degrees to go because of that onshore flow. So that's what we'll see today. And then tomorrow, we'll start to see a ridge of high pressure build. That'll keep those temperatures in the 70s along the coast to 80s inland from tomorrow all the way through the beginning of next week. Let's take a look at what's going on in traffic. It's 6:10 right now. I want to show you what earlier was several crashes and is now limited to just about one. So it looks like we do still have this one crash on the 94. Earlier, the crash on the 5 was blocking a portion of the Coronado Bridge. That has now been cleared. Now we do still have the left-hand shoulder blocked with that crash on the 94 westbound as you get onto the 805. That's where we're having just a little bit of trouble, but it looks like speeds are also slightly slower due to volume there on the 805 northbound, and across the Coronado Bridge midspan, we're starting to see some slightly slower speeds too, again, just because of volume out there. Back to you.